Hello everyone, and welcome to this video which is in our Engine Snack series. I'm Grandmaster Matthew Sadler, and we're taking a look at a game between Berserk and Seer, TCEC Season 22, Swiss. So White seems to be a fair amount better in this position, mainly due to the tripled C-pawns, and also the isolated pawn on A4. Now, White does have some weaknesses in the pawn structure, the pawn on D3, and the pawn on b2, both of which are backward. But actually it's not easy for black to really generate a lot of pressure against them. And it's also not easy for black to switch from one point to the other, from attacking the b pawn to the d pawn. Why is that actually? It's due to the tripled c pawns, which stop, the rook coming over from a6 to d6, for example, or a7 to d7, and then back to b7 to attack b2. In actual fact, it's one of those things which I tested because it suddenly intrigued me. If we remove the c pawn from c7, then Stockfish thinks that the position has improved by 0.5 of a pawn, simply because of the extra flexibility that black gets for the rooks. So in this position, what has White got? Well, not much is going to happen on the queen side, but obviously it's really on the king side that White could make some breaks, gain some space, open up the opponent's king. But of course, if the white king is on the king side, then the white king is going to get exposed when White starts advancing the pawns. Now, this is crying out for a Petrosian king march, over to the other side before advancing the pawns, and always seen as very advanced strategy, still is, I think, for human players. And you would have thought that it's something that would be quite hard for engines to find, but actually, on this channel, I mean, we've seen already quite a few examples of engines playing this, and not only Leela and Stockfish, but also engines like Weiss and Berserk here, and Koivisto as well. So pretty impressive, really. In this position, Berserk played the move King F1. It's quite interesting in a way because black does have some sort of pressure against the white queen side. Pawn on b2, pawn on d3. So you're not 100% sure that the white king should be completely safe. But in actual fact, the pressure that that black can build up is fairly minimal. It's doubled rooks on the b file, for example, but then we can defend b2, and we've also got knight takes a4, winning a pawn, defending b2. So yeah, very, very hard for black to do something. And after about 10 or 12 moves, the white king has found its new home. Now, we got quite a bit more shuffling, and then at some stage Berserk decided that it was time to advance the kingside pawns. And I played out this position between Berserk latest version on the IP Man site, get it, and Dragon 3, and actually White won every single game. It was quite amazing. I mean, it's that powerful. So Queen H3, G4, just actually not caring at all about pawns. Black can take any number really, but it's just all about opening lines. So E takes F4, E5. Of course, a move like Bishop H4, Rook H1 is extremely awkward for black. We're just going to end up losing a piece at the very least. So Bishop E7, Rook H1, G5. Again, leaving all sorts of pawns hanging, but simply opening up the king side. Now, Queen takes C5 was one of my games between Dragon and Berserk. We've got G takes H6, G6, Knight E4, hitting the Queen, H5. We just keep on going. Rooks coming to the G file. It's just terrible for black. Look how far away those rooks are from being able to defend the black king. So black played Rook D8, trying to hit the pawn on D3 a little, try and restrict White a little bit. But Knight E4, Queen D4, Rook E1, just stopping Queen E5 because of Knight F6 check. G6, and now H5, just blasting things open. So what are you going to do here? King G7 was played, G takes H6, and now actually Seer decided to try and use that pawn as a barrier, just have it in front of the king, in order to block the H file, because King H6, H takes G6, G takes F7, followed by Queen G4 check, and Rook G2 is just absolute carnage. So yeah, after G takes H6, black tried to stay on H8 and have the H pawn as a sort of a barrier towards attacking it. But now a gorgeous move from Berserk, e6. And after f takes e6, we've got h takes g6, and this is very, very scary. We're just going to play g7, and then just try and get a queen onto g6 somehow. So queen e5 was played, rook g2, queen f5. Must be said that after queen e5, Komodo Dragon wanted knight d6, which I thought was very, very beautiful. The idea is queen d6, we go queen g4, threatening rook takes e6, and after e5 we go g7 check, king h7, and I think it was just rook g1 here with the double threat of g8 queen and queen f5 check. So after queen e5, rook g2 was played, which is also very strong. Rook h1, just rooks here, we're just going to move those pawns forward. Rook g8, g7, rook h5, chasing the queen away, and here Sia decided that it didn't want to allow its queen to be driven away, and it tried to get some sort of material, but this was complete and utter carnage, and Berserk won very quickly afterwards. So in general, a really nice strategy from Berserk there. First of all, from ages away, just seeing that the plan was to advance the kingside pawns, gain space there, and that it was best if the king was on the other side. So, a whole plan, 12 moves later, the king is there, and then the pawns just get advanced, just amazing, and they're just unstoppable, those pawns, real Rubinstein pawns, these, ending up with pawns on h6 and g6 in a totally winning position. Lovely play from Berserk.